Well, we have our first loss of the Joe Montemurro era. Australia 0, Panama 1. A really disappointing result for the Matildas, obviously, but the performance itself was quite poor in the end. There's multiple factors as to why we did see the performance that we did see. And Joe Montemurro did highlight a few things, interesting things in his post-match press conference, but ultimately this result was a huge disappointment for Australia. And first of all, credit to Panama. They were very good in this game. Ranked 56th in the FIFA rankings and showed up with a really solid performance defensively, very strong and well organized, and looked dangerous on the counter-attack. Got their goal in the second half through Shalene King, and that was enough to give Panama the win in the end. Just a friendly match, of course, but still, we want to make sure we are performing well and getting the results. But this is a little stumble on the road here for Australia. Let's start off by having a look at the lineup, because there is a lot to talk about here from the Matildas. Joe Montemurro was pretty keen to shake things up a little bit and rotate the lineup. This was a good chance for so many players, some newer players and some players who may be returning to the squad, some experienced faces who may be falling out of favour have returned to the lineup here. And it was great to see. I mean, that's what these friendlies are for. We've got 4 games here. This is the third out of the 4 games total across these couple of weeks. And it's a great opportunity to really rotate the squad. And we knew that was going to happen. But looking at this lineup, Tegan Micah returned in goals. It was a back 4 of Torpy, Pryor, Courtney Nevin playing at centre back, and Jamila Rankin there as well. Alana Murphy, Alex Chidiac, and Chloe Berryhill were playing in the midfield positions, while Rasso and McNamara were out wide. Gilnick also in attack as well. We did see that front 3 especially rotating around quite a lot. At times Rasso was on the right and left. McNamara was rotating with Gilnick as to which of those players was playing the central striker role. So there was experimentation happening throughout this game as it was transpiring as well. So it was great to see a bit of a mix in the lineup as well. Emily Van Egmond, Chloe Lincoln did come on for goalkeeper Tegan Micah. According to Joe Montemurro, Tegan Micah was just feeling a little bit dizzy. She did have that heavy fall in the second half, so hopefully Tegan Micah is all okay. Michelle Heyman, Grace Kirilamu made her Matildas debut. We also saw Jacinta Galabata-Rachichi return for the Matildas. Adriana Taranto also getting some minutes, and Alexia Apostolakis also featuring. So many opportunities here for players who we're not used to seeing in the Matildas setup back in the squad, which is really, really exciting. But ultimately, this side, it just didn't quite get clicking. And one thing that Joe Montemurro interestingly highlighted in his post-match press conference was a couple of things. First of all, he did highlight how the intensity in the training sessions were at a really high level, and that's the standard that he wants to set in training sessions, which is great. We want that high level intensity in our training sessions. We want to make sure this team is performing at optimum levels, even in friendly matches, to really set the tone for when it comes around to the competitive competitions. And he hinted that maybe those intense training sessions were a reason as to why maybe it was a bit of a sluggish performance in the end from the Matildas. That's at least what I gathered from Joe Montemurro's comments. And of course, we did see plenty of changes in this lineup as well. So many new combinations here, players playing together who maybe hadn't played, next to each other on the pitch before. So with so many new combinations, it's always going to be tricky. Having said that, the performance and the result itself is still really, really disappointing. We should have seen more from the Matildas going forward. I thought we were quite poor going forward. There were a couple of moments. Hayley Rasso showed some promising signs. Emily Gilnick with a couple half chances, but there was no real quality opportunities. In that second half, I was waiting for that moment for the game really just to click into gear for Australia, and it never really came. And just prior to the hour mark, Panama take the lead, a deserved lead. They played really well up to that point and held on to the victory in the end. And Australia really waited until maybe the last 10 minutes to really show some urgency and some speed going forward. Joe Montemurro also did highlight how they hadn't really focused too much on the attacking side of things. He spoke a lot about defense and into midfield as well. So he highlighted how that is an area that they haven't really focused on as much, which could hint as to why Australia have lacked a little bit of quality in the final third. Looking at the stats in the end, Australia 14 shots, 4 of those on target. A bunch of those shots are coming in the final stages of the match. Panama with 10 shots, just the 3 on target. And again, we're seeing this common theme from Australia, controlling lots of possession. In this game, Matildas had 2/3 of the ball, but still weren't able to really, do anything effective with the ball in the end. The pass accuracy was good, 83% in the end. But again, a lot of those passes, across the back line, nothing really effective moving forward. 8 corners again from the Matildas, but a lot of those set pieces weren't quite working out, and it was a pretty poor day in the end for set pieces, I think it's fair to say as well. There were a couple bright moments from our substitutes. I was hoping to see maybe more changes at the halftime break. I felt like we needed something different at halftime, but there were some great opportunities, man. Taranta had a great strike, and Apostolakis at the end, a long-range effort that would have been an incredible first Matildas goal for Alexia Apostolakis. Wasn't to be in the end. Michelle Heyman almost scored right at the end there as well on the follow-up, but Australia falling to a 1-0 defeat in the end to Panama. I mean, it's great having the opportunity now to play Panama once again. We are taking them on this Tuesday. It's the final game in this window of friendlies for Joe Montemurro, and I'm very curious to see what Montemurro does for that game. How much does he tweak things? Does he really rotate the squad again? I'm sure he would have learnt so much from this first game here. I still have a lot of faith in Joe Montemurro. He's only a few games in charge. He's still getting things clicking, and these little stumbles on the road are going to come, as I mentioned, but I really hope he really learns from this game and we see a big response on Tuesday. It would be great just for the fans as well to bounce back with a strong performance, with a dominant performance, but with goals as well, with a win. I think that would be really good just to show the fans, yes, okay, if these things happen, if we get put in these sorts of situations where we are trailing, we're struggling, to show the fans that, this team is capable of really bouncing back against the adversity. So that's what I want to see in that next game against Panama. So that makes it 1 win, 1 draw, and now 1 loss for the Joe Montemurro era for the Matildas. What do you guys make of this performance? What changes do you want to see in game 2 against Panama? Thanks guys for tuning in. Make sure to stay subscribed for more Matildas content right here on Ozwatch Football. Hit the like button on the way out. My name's Lockie, and I'll see you in the next one.